transitions. So many souls are in a phase of transition. What is it, and what does it mean for you? And how can you transition with the most ease and fluidity? And how can you transition with your complete self without losing parts of you? You see, the transitional process is one that is difficult to be ignored. Because when you are transitioning, it's more than likely that there is conflict and cycles of suffering. And this unfolds for many humans. It can seem like a daunting, relentless process, one that would be rather pushed away. But you see, the transitional process is the most effective, likened to a death and rebirth cycle. So it should be celebrated. And you should be as conscious as possible during this process. Because as you leave the energy strands and the prints of you behind, and as you step into a timeline that is in resonance with your higher self based upon what you have been producing at a soul level. And this works out for you on a day-to-day basis, because that is the cycle and the rhythm that here on earth you are working with. You see, you track everything with time, and there's a schedule. And in most cases, there's some sort of a structure. And with this, you are able to then calculate as accurately or as effectively how you go about your day-to-day. But you see, the transitions, as you come into full body awareness, transitions occur, and they only occur when you have accumulated that of which is a reflection and a representation of your higher self. And only then are you able to transition to the next phase, into the next cycle that only brings your heart that feeling of being whole. And each time you transition, and each time you are able to remove that cloak, and you are able to give birth to new wings, it is only then you will feel the closeness to your spirit and who you are. So, for those of you transitioning, it is important to look at which causes you discomfort. Because it is in the discomfort of your being, it is in the discomfort of your mental processes. If you're able to recognize the discomfort, not from a place of survival or chaos, if you are able to recognize the discomfort from a place of pure consciousness, that means in your practice observing the thought streams, being witness of, rather than allowing it all to discombobulate and then losing sight of what is moving through your mental body. So that's the first thing. So if you are able to bring pure consciousness into discomfort, you will then be able to recognize and see what the underlying vibration is. And as you get a step closer to the discomfort, it's here that you'll be able to make the necessary change, which is often a releasing from the physical body. It is often a releasing of an energetic form that has been long held in the body. Once you bring your conscious awareness to this part, this energy form, it then loses its hold, it then loses its grip. You then bring more fluidity into this part of your being. So, remember that transitioning is the death and a rebirth of something magnificent, and it is always a step closer to your spirit. And for those of you who have reached a place of embodying your spirit, you will still feel the cycles within you, because that is everything that you are. You are part of the cycles and the natural rhythm that takes place as part of everything that we are and where we are and our state in this time-space reality. And for those of you who have embodied your spirits, you would have recognized that these cycles are just part of you. So you go through them with much ease and grace. And for those of you that are slightly less embodied or new to this journey, and especially of this process of transitions, find people that can support you. Find a group that can share sacred space with, because it is here in this offering and understanding that the ease and often the weight that is being carried by your existence, this weight can find a way to be halved, and it can find a way to loosen its grip in these sacred places. And for those of you that are finding your transition challenging, take a step back of everything that you thought that you were, everything that you've accumulated. Detachment from your identity will always bring peace throughout your journey. Detachment from your identity will always ground you back into the physical and connect you to source. Detachment from your identity of what you thought was and is and how will bring you back into your grace. Take a step back, loosen your grip of your view of yourself and the titles that you may carry. Loosen your grip of how you want or believe certain things should be. It is here that suffering is grown. It is here that suffering is fed. So take a step back as you transition, and remember that the transition is always held in the highest of lights. And when you make it to the other side, you are bringing parts of you home. And the more that you are able to move through this cycle and understand it, and the stages and the phases, it becomes a part of you. And that rhythm that is always with you, you will see it more clearly, which means you will be able to ride with it rather than push against it. Allow it to be, and allow the parts of you that have been either hidden, suppressed, lost, unseen, unheard of. Allow those parts of you to surface. And when the fear arises, remind yourself that you are safe. Because you always are, you always have been, and you always will be. And that is the program that we wish to instill in all beings that come to listen to these words as they come through. Because in the eyes that is able to be part of safety, and bring that energy to every cell of your body. It is those eyes that are able to hold the higher dimensional frequencies. Because when you know, and you are, and you always have been, safe, the lower frequency vibrations will no longer be a part of your reality. So hold that feeling of safety, free from worry or troubles, free from the mental intoxications. Because when you remind yourself every day and you become a living being of that embodiment, you will transition into the higher dimensional frequencies. And when you start living in those places, at first, there can be moments of tremble as you adjust your energy field. Once you give it time, and your attention and your devotion, you settle in and you are able to live in a new reality that you have fully transitioned into, filled with your presence and knowingness, filled with your heart and spirit. And as you live the new phase and the new cycle, you attract and create from that new place, that new feeling place. And that is the beauty of your power, dear ones. Your ability to transition, your ability to create new. And we thank you all for being here.